Hello again, whiskey friends. Welcome back to the Whiskey Riff Lounge. My name is Kelsey. So today we're doing a showdown, craft versus heritage. Now this is something I've been wanting to do since I've tasted this bottle. Put it up against some heritage bottles that are seemingly pretty consistent and really, really good all the time. Can it compete? Is it better? Is it a better value? Should you be looking out for these craft distilleries coming up that are making a splash right now? So we're going to get into that in just a moment. So come back and see what we find out. All right, welcome back. So what are we talking about, craft versus heritage? So some of the heritage bottles that I'm throwing in are pretty findable anywhere and everywhere. We're talking about Old Forester 1920. Now this is the new label. It's been out for a couple of years. We're talking about Mr. Jack Daniels himself. Gold label, barrel proof bourbon. This is a pick called Corn Kong from a local group here near me. You should be able to find some of these, like these picks. Now, this is the craft. I've been touting this brand for over 2 years. I got to meet the master distiller a few weeks ago, and she was a ball of energy. I loved hanging out with Mia. You can see that their passion really translate into what they're doing. Now, this is a legacy bottle of 30-gallon. They put these in 30-gallon barrels, so it is quite a bit darker than their normal bourbon because of that. But we're putting this up against those two and a little tater action for you. Weller foolproof store pick. So we're putting this one up against some pretty touted heritage distilleries, and let's see what we come up with. Now, they are going to go in that order, so we'll do the 1920, the JT, the Meleck, and then the Weller. So let me grab some water and we'll jump into the nose on this, whiskey friends. Cheers to you. So this is the Old Forester 1920. This has always been a staple on mine. As you can see, there's a bunch of Old Foresters right there on my shelves. I've always loved this brand. I've really enjoyed just about every offering except for a couple of them, Statesman being one of them that I didn't really prefer. So typical Old Forester nose, man. That banana, caramel, a little bit of barrel char, just what you expect from the 1920. Let's get into the palate on this one. Just really good, man. You got all of those notes. This one has a little bit of a nut flavor to it. Interesting. Okay. May just be my palate from what I've been drinking today, but sometimes it happens. You'll notice what you eat, what you have drank that day. It definitely influences everything that you drink later on. So proof on let me give you the proof points on these. So Old Forester, we're looking at a proof point of 115. The Corn Kong is a little hefty. It's coming in at 132.3. The JT Meleck is coming in at 110. So some of these proof point wise, it's going to have to compete pretty well to compete with it. And full proof on the Weller is 114. So a couple of these are right there together. The only one that kind of stands out is that GD having a large proof difference. But we'll see how it goes. Old Forester, typical notes, nothing. I mean, staple. If you guys haven't tried Old Forester 1920, go do it. My favorite is the 1915. You ask what that is. 50% 1920, 50% 1910. Split those half and half, mix them up. I've got a whole bottle of it made up there that I absolutely love. That's my go-to Old Forester blend. Let's get into this JD. Color-wise, it's a little bit darker. I do not have an age statement on this particular pick. Oh, man, this is so good on the nose, too. Wow. All that sweet corn notes, a little bit of the banana jack that you get. I will say the banana jack is probably a little bit different than the Old Forester banana. I know that both people say banana on both of those. Obviously, they're both Brown Foreman, but still, Banana Jack comes more across of like a banana walnut bread, at least this particular one. So really sweet walnuts, banana, brown sugars. This is a really great pick, by the way. Kudos to BCA and Crossroads for doing this pick. Wow. That's the tricky thing about this pick. It does not drink 132. Holy crap, it drinks about like 115. That's why I kind of put it in here, because realistically, it drinks about 115, 116. It's just right in line with every other. Man, the palate's really good. A lot of oak towards the end. A banana walnut bread comes through on the palate, on the front of the palate. JD for me has really been killing it the last 3 to 4 years. I just know that their products, that they put out, I've got a whole row up there above my head, and enjoyed the Coy Hill. I've enjoyed their special released rye, their single malt released, all of their store picks. The Jack 10, the Jack 12 are up there. Jack's really been doing a great job. So, if you're not a Jack 7, I get that. But, man, some of their products they have been consistently been putting out great shelfers and 94 proof picks as well. Solid pick. A little bit of dark chocolate on that one. I think for me, so far, the well-roundedness goes to the Jack. I really enjoy the sweetness of the Old Forester up front. I'm going to take a little bit of a water cleanse so that doesn't try to influence as much going forward. Now, this is the Meleck. Here's how dark that thing is. Crazy dark. Really cool story. If you guys don't know their story, they are a farm to glass distillery. They only are producing a small amount right now in Louisiana, Arkansas, and Texas. Their farm also exports over 300 million, million pounds of crawfish. So if you're not familiar with how crawfish eat and survive, they have rice fields and they flood them. Crawfish eat on the rice, and that's how they're grown, blah, blah, blah. It's a lot more intense, but that's the general snippet. But these are 30-gallon barrels. Mia was really super excited when these came out. She said, let's do it. And I'm so glad that she did, because holy shit. Yeah, man. Right up front, brown sugar's a little bit brighter than the Jack. Obviously, it's a lot younger. I think she said that's around 6 years old. Always get Smarties on their stuff, man. Always. I don't know what it is. It's the fruity, sugary, confectionery type of thing on their nose, but a real rich and dense wood note of those 30-gallon barrels have really done well off of the nose. It's just really dense and really good on the nose. Let's go for palate. Wow. Okay, so a little bit brighter, a little bit more tame than Jack on the front of the palate. The Jack is kind of like a jackhammer up front, where this one's a little bit more subdued. But my God, I don't know if you guys can see how oily that is. Yeah, this thing is viscous and just coats your palate. Holy cow. It's not super spicy. The Jack was a lot spicier than this. Obviously, it's a proof point's a lot higher. But the one thing that I really do like about this particular bottle, which is their legacy bottle, is how well constructed it is from front to back. You get the sweetness up front. It's well rounded. The viscousness of that palate just spreads out and covers. And then the finish stays on for a while because of that. It gets all those sweet notes of confectionery sugar and fruit, and then the dark oak notes, which are sweet as well. So this is going to be tough, guys. A lot tougher than I really thought. I knew this could compete, but I didn't know how well it could compete. So that's why I wanted to do this for you guys as well as myself. So we're looking at the Taterland here at Weller Full Proof Store Pick. It's got a nice color on it as well. So looking at that one, nice color. It's got a little bit of those Buffalo Tracy notes that you're familiar with, of cherry, sweet notes up front. Now, this particular pick has been open for a while. You can see I'm already down past halfway on it, so it does have some airtime in it. The other ones are pretty freshly. I can't stop drinking the Lexi. I got to stop because we may need it for the whiskey of the year contender. But yeah, up front in the nose, a little bit of more of the vanilla than I typically get on the store picks. But that cherry note is always there. Okay. This one's got a lot more rye spice up front. All right, I'm digging that. I don't remember being that good. A lot of rye spice up front, then transitioning to a sweet oak. That's got a really heck of a finish on it for a Buffalo Trace product. I'm not dogging Buffalo Trace. I'm just typically, when I taste Buffalo Trace, there's not much of a finish on them. I'll just say that. Like, they're good whiskeys. Obviously people would be chasing after them weren't good whiskeys. Yeah, and if you guys have ever gone to Buffalo Trace, you know what I'm about to say is that this particular one smells just like what their rickhouse smells like on the wood side of it. Yeah, makes me. You know what's cool about smell is it tied to memory and all of that. It makes me think of the last trip we went there and that smash smell in the air. It's just crazy. So this one is pretty viscous too. Look at that. It's really got a lot of legs on that thing. So this is going to be a lot harder than I thought it was. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to rank them in nose first, and then we'll go backwards through it, and then we'll get a decision. So let's go nose. See who has the best nose so far. Now we're going back to the JD. Ooh, man. It's super close between the JD and the JT Meleck. I'm going to give it to the JD just because I feel like it's more intense as far as the nasal experience that you get from it. So I'm going to go with B, which was the JD Corn Kong on the nose. So I'm going to take a little bit of water here as I reset my palate. We're talking through some things about the channel. One of the things that I love you guys are doing is commenting, letting us know what you like, what you don't like. So if we're going through these, if one of these bottles is like, hey, dude, let you put this up against this, give me some ideas of what you guys want to see comparison-wise on some of these heritage bottles versus whether it be a craft distillery and you send me a sample of that craft and I'll put it up against it, however you want to do it. I want to hear from you what you guys are drinking that is non-heritage that you're super excited about. Could be a small distillery that nobody knows about, or it could be a craft distillery that you're really, really into. Either way, let's put them up against some heritage bottles and let's see how they compete. So let's go back through this. This is going to be the Weller Full Proof. And I said this one was really viscous, so it had a lot of potential here. Yeah, that's really nice. Got a great mouthfeel. A lot like the mouthfeel of the Meleck. It's got that real viscousness that just spreads out all over your palate. Not super complex, but I really enjoy the mid palate and finish on this one. That's a really good pick. I don't even remember who did that pick. Who is this? Cinder Rebellion, who did this pick. I think I got this from Keith, so a buddy of mine. Let's go to the Meleck. Really, really good, folks. That one for me, I'd pay over 120, maybe $130 a pick. These guys are wanting 200 plus for them. No, it's not that good. It's not worth that to me. The Legacy bottle was $79, in case you're wondering. So this is the Meleck. Man, it's gotten even better on the nose. This competes with that Corn Kong on the nose, man. It's really, really close. It's getting real buttery and sweet. All right, here we go. Jeez Louise. Okay. Yeah. Same Same type of palate as far as the mouthfeel as the Weller, as far as the mouthfeel goes. It's a little bit lighter on the front of the palate, and it's more of a conducive ride like this. Whereas I felt like the Weller Full Proof is kind of slow and then jumps up and then tails off. Man, the finish on this thing is really good too. For it being that proof at 110 and having that much of a finish, as well as the Weller. I mean, the Weller was great on the finish for, I think it's pretty close to that proof point too. It's 114, so it's not that much bigger of a proof point. So, man, one more sip on this one. I'm going to go on to JD. I think it's just really good. Kudos, Mia, and your team. A+ on that, man. Now, I haven't taken a drink, or a drink of water, so I'm just going through these straight, and I know they're going to play off of each other some. So, man, the nose on that son of a bitch is so good. Holy crap! It is such a good pick. I'm glad I got a backup bottle of it, to be honest with you. Super rich. A little bit of peanut coming into this now. A little bit of nut. Nothing wrong with that. There you go. Yeah, man, that's really, really good. From front to back, it's really strong. It's really got a lot more spice and punch, obviously, than the Meleck does up front and mid palate. Obviously, you're talking about 25, almost 25 proof points difference between those two. So it's a little unfair, but let's go on to the 1920. This is at 115 proof. Gotten sweeter on the nose. It just falls flat compared to these others. So I'm going to go 4th place with this one. It's good. All these whiskeys are good. Just say that out front. But when you put them up against each other and you see the dynamics of the experience that you're having, I really feel like that really falls flat compared to the other three. Let's see if I can narrow it down to the last two. And that was the Meleck. Okay, yeah. I'm going to narrow it down to 2. Full Proof is in 3rd place. It's between the Meleck and the Corn Kong here. So Meleck is really competing well against them. I figured that it would, but you never know until you do it. So, all right, let's keep moving my corn. Man, I hate to do this, but I'm going to say call it a tie. Because if I proof that Jack down to 110, I think it would lose a lot of its luster. But they're both really, really good. So, guys, again, Heritage brand versus craft. This is one of my favorite crafts that I've been tasting lately. JT Meleck. It's in Arkansas, Louisiana, and Texas. So if you have some friends in those states, tell them to look out for this. Ask for it. This is the legacy bottle. They have a foolproof version that's 100 and crap. I'm gonna screw this up. I want to say it's 118, but sorry me if I screwed it up. And then they have a 96 proof. I know that one's right. And all of their offerings for the shelfers are great. They're also going to see single barrels that look like this. You see those out there. Those are great to pick up. I know that you can get some on Justin's House of Bourbon when they have them. That's the only online place that I've seen them so far. But thank you guys for sticking around for such a long video. But I appreciate your help. And make sure you guys put those comments down below, like what bottles you want to see, or if there's craft distilleries that you want to see against Heritage. So kudos everybody for hanging in this long video. We'll see you on Wednesday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central. There we go. Talk to you guys soon. See you later.